Honestly, I kind of felt like this story was pointless. I got nothing more out of it from the beginning than I did at the end. I didn't think anyone really gets pleasure out of being robbed. It's interesting, I kind of would have liked to have seen how the people being robbed would have felt after the fact that Eleanor robbed them. The story overall, it seemed surreal. Eleanor getting arrested and being taken to the zoo and spending all day with the cops, or learning how to drive on your first night and going to Boston, it didn't seem realistic. And maybe that's kind of what Josh wanted to get at the film, because it's not realistic having pleasure out of being robbed, and it's not realistic doing all these things that Eleanor does. She doesn't really seem like a realistic and complex character. She's almost robotic and has no emotion. She goes through these people's bags, but she doesn't really take money or anything of uh, value really to her. It's more like she's kind of going through the lives of these other people to see, what are they like. She was simple-minded and almost childlike, especially um, as far as going to the zoo with the policeman goes. She's like, I want to go to the zoo, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was, I don't know, she's just so childlike and not believable, not complex, and I have no empathy for her or anything. There was very little dialogue and character development. It was kind of like we are just kind of living our life and continuing on. Something I really liked about the film, which kind of added to it, is it was kind of like an old type of. I should have asked Josh this, but what type of film he used? It kind of looked old, and there were some, black lines going through the screen, which was interesting. It looked kind of like lomography photography, which was kind of cool. However, still the film seemed really current despite the old film. Most shots kind of seemed like an outside perspective, which was kind of cool. Because I felt throughout the film this is something like I would see on the street. This is something I would observe. So it's kind of nice to um, have that kind of connection with the film. There was this one shot. Eleanor was in handcuffs, and um, then she was at the zoo, and she was looking at the polar bear right before the dream sequence. And I thought it was kind of interesting because I felt like the connection with her in handcuffs and the connection with the caged bear kind of showed how her free spirit isn't really um, being able to get out, and she's kind of lost and confused. Josh, it's very good that we got to meet him because I probably wouldn't have liked the film that much had I not, gotten to know him. I didn't realize Eleanor in the film and out of the film, they have the same name for one, maybe pronounced differently. Um, and he kind of based the story off of her as a photographer and kind of stealing identities and having the relationship with that. Was it a movie that changed my life? No. Was it okay to watch? I guess. But it wasn't something I could really connect to. Um, it was just kind of watching someone live. And there was no development there, so it is what it is.